So we've only been drawing for 4 days this week. Oops. Hi, I'm Velson. I draw every day on my lunch break at my full-time job, and then I go home to make videos about them. And welcome to Thursday, aka day 4 of 4, so technically the finale of week 6 of drawing every day at my lunch break, sort of. Okay, so I'm filming this on a Sunday. Yeah, we're very late.
Sorry TikTok, this will be confusing for you because this will be uploaded on a regular Thursday because you're like a week behind. Sorry.
And for Friday, I was working that day, but I was out of office for a majority of it, running errands. Suffice to say, I did not have the time for a day 5, and I had to prioritize, you know, actually doing my job. Well, not really. I was errand boy for that day, but if that meant not having to do work and still getting paid for it, then sure. I hope my boss doesn't see this. Anyway, that's all useless information, so let's have a look at this week so far. This was the bonus drawing I did last week, and this was the reference photo. This was the drawing for day 1, and this was the reference photo. This was day 2 and 3's, and this was the reference photo. Ugh. So let's talk about day 4. Again, I wanted a complete stark contrast between the reference and the character, and we have a very interesting dynamic. So I happily stumbled across this beautiful portrait of Willem Dafoe, and we all know him as the GOAT and the king of drip.
Fortnite.
Now for the chosen female character, I could go the complete obvious opposite of the reference, which generally includes a lot of everybody's favorite cute waifu choices. But this is also me we're talking about, and I just have a thing for headstrong women characters. Not in that way, I just prefer them over the obvious Guna bait, to be honest. And if you knew me personally, that would be a big oxymoron because I completely thrive off Guna jokes, and that's saying something. And because unfortunately I'm still a little bit of a weeb, we are drawing Maki from Jujutsu Kaisen. And as much as I love her later design, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm just going to stick with the version of her that we've seen in the anime so far. But dude, this was a quick drawing. Like, a really quick drawing. I think I only spent like 5 minutes on the sketch and then 20 odd minutes on the rendering or something like that. Yeah. It was not a lot of time, which is a point I'll bring up after I show you the results. However, the lighting in that reference photo came in clutch because just look at that lighting, bro. The lighting on the left side of his face casts this shadow on the right side, which creates this very clear contrast, and you can see the clear contour of his face as well. This made it so much easier to distinguish where I can paint in the lighting on the face. But for only 20 minutes of rendering, I gotta say, it isn't the worst. But anyway, here are the final results for day 4. Once again, in classic fashion, time is a factor that will always bite me in the ass when doing things like this. And that is the thing I wanted to bring up. I'm changing the way I do daily videos from now on. Ironically enough, it will mean that I will pump out more videos technically, but that means I will have more time to draw personally. Then so how is that gonna work then? Well, first of all, we're going back to daily shorts. But big but, they will be significantly shorter. I will say somewhere between the lines of 30 seconds to a minute, but no longer than that. So for my shorts, I will still be drawing on my lunch breaks. That will never change. However, I'm using those lunch breaks to do studies only. And those studies will be the subject of my daily videos. Now, I'm completely cutting out writing in those videos, so there will be no commentary at all, as much as I love to yap. I'm only going to show the types of studies I did that day, the quantity that I've drawn, and the amount of time it took for me to draw each study. That's it. And each week there will be a new type of subject to study, whether that be hands, perspective, or coloring, or whatever. Editing these short videos should cut down a majority of my time, so that way I can spend the rest of my night doing other things. Look, I miss the gym and doing other physical activities, and I can feel the lack of exercise catching up to me because I've been prioritizing my time making these videos non-stop. But that's also not the only thing I want to do on my weeknights. I want to work on one big piece every week. But this time, I'll be making a long form video once a week about the drawing I did that week outside of my work hours. This way, I get to complete an illustration without the lack of time, and I can still do art studies with my daily videos. So that's 2 birds in 1 stone, baby. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for tuning in. Follow my socials or subscribe only if you feel like it though, but if you don't, then I don't really give a fuck, to be honest. But I shall see you tomorrow for my daily art study shorts and at the end of the week for my big illustration video. Love you, and I'll see you then. Bye!